Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including why you may want to wait to buy a Model 3, very surprising new Tesla layoffs, Tesla recall details, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, whenever NHTSA issues a recall for an electric vehicle, especially a Tesla, no matter how minor the issue, it's sure to make the headlines. As a result, it starts to feel like Teslas are being pulled off the road way more than the competition, but that couldn't be further from the truth. According to the list of recalls from NHTSA, Tesla only issued 13 recalls in the US in 2023, and that's including over-the-air software update fixes. While those software updates affected around 2.5 million vehicles, their physical recalls only affected 21,455 vehicles, or about 1% of the total. Keep in mind that a recall resolved with a software update usually only takes a few days for Tesla to rectify, and most drivers won't even know that there was a problem in the first place. Now, let's take a look at how the competition did. In first place, for the most recalls was Ford with 54, accounting for 20% of all the recalls in the United States. Those 54 recalls affected almost 5.7 million vehicles, well over twice as many as Tesla. The company with the next highest number of vehicles recalled is Honda at almost 3.8 million. Keep in mind, they did not deliver any EVs in 2023, so these are all ICE vehicles. At the bottom of the list is Lucid, who, like Tesla, only manufactures EVs. Lucid also has a small amount of vehicles on the road. They only had 5 recalls, affecting around 8,500 cars. To be fair, Ford manufactures a lot more cars and a lot more model variations than Lucid or Tesla, so it makes sense that they have accounted for a lot more recalls. Even so, this data makes it apparent that while Tesla recalls seem to be happening all the time, they're actually pretty ahead of the curve when it compares to other automakers. When you manufacture large and complicated machines like cars, especially at a rapidly increasing rate, the occasional design or manufacturing error is unavoidable. It happens to every automaker. Tesla sold about 1.8 million vehicles in 2023 alone, on top of the millions of vehicles that were already on the road. Only about 1% of the recalled cars were due to an actual physical defect that required in-person correction. Tesla's largest recall last year was a software fix to ensure drivers are paying attention while autopilot is on, while Ford's largest recall, impacting 1.28 million vehicles, was due to a potentially rupturing brake hose. Obviously, the Tesla recall was important, but it addressed user error more so than an actual defect in the vehicle. Now, to be clear, Tesla and any automaker correcting the issues that prompt recalls is extremely important. Tesla has had to fix a lot of issues over the years, but the overwhelming majority have been easily fixable by over-the-air software fixes. This isn't to say they don't have physical recalls. Every Cybertruck was just recalled a few weeks ago over an accelerator pedal problem that was easily fixed, but those numbers pale in comparison to the competition. So next time you hear about the biggest Tesla recall ever, take a minute to check out all the details before jumping to conclusions. Chances are it's a software fix that you may not even notice if you weren't looking out for it. Next up today, we're always seeing Tesla's pricing moving around, and it gives us great insight into which cars are selling the most and which they are producing in the most numbers. Tesla sells direct to consumers, so their pricing has to publicly fluctuate. Sometimes this can be quite frustrating, especially since they do such sudden, large drops or increases. When it suddenly drops, it very much frustrates the customers who just purchased their Tesla, and it messes with vehicle used depreciation over time. That said, the latest price increase from Tesla comes with the all-new Performance Model 3. Just a few days after releasing this car and making it available for order, they raised its price from $52,990 to $53,990. On top of that, estimated delivery times have pushed back a tad, now showing June. The interestingly complicated thing here is that for the Model 3 as a whole, it has a mix of tax credit eligibility. The only trim that qualifies for the $7,500 tax credit is the performance trim because of the battery sourcing. They pretty clearly detail this on their website. You configure it, and at the bottom it says your design qualifies for a $7,500 federal tax credit for eligible buyers. However, with this recent increase, upgrading the car in certain ways will take it over the $55,000 price cap. So at $54,000, when adding red paint, it will no longer qualify for a tax credit. Further, when adding white interior and any paint option aside from the default stealth gray, it won't qualify. This $1,000 price increase may not seem like a lot, but for eligible buyers, it actually means you have less options that you can configure for this car, or you'll end up seeing an $8,500 increase over just a couple weeks ago. It's worth pointing out because it could signal that for some customers, it's a good time to wait. While the new Model 3 has been shipping for a few months in the US, the performance trim with all of its changes is brand new. So just like every brand new exciting Tesla vehicle or trim, it is likely coming with a premium that will change in the future. Once production catches up and or demand decreases a tad, they will do what they always do to drive more sales: drop the price. Dropping it could mean that you can get the full trim that you wanted, maybe red with white seats, and it will qualify for that tax credit. On top of that, Tesla will have produced a lot of these and iterated on it. It's always the case that buying a later VIN of a Tesla comes with better refinement to build quality, so in this car, waiting could be very smart. Of course, this isn't blanket advice though, and it's speculation. Tesla is always changing things up, and they are doing it in huge ways right now, which we'll detail in a moment here. On the battery side of things though, if you're someone waiting for the best tech and very patient, CATL is working on a battery that could bring a massive range increase to this car. CATL just announced a new technology that could see as much as 621 miles on a single charge from an EV battery. Now, claims like this are always a bit confusing since we don't know the size of that battery pack, but the exciting thing is that this is LFP and uses a, quote, proprietary honeycomb material added to the anode. Energy density is far superior to other LFP batteries, and on top of great range, they say it could bring super fast charging. It could charge as much as 373 miles in just 10 minutes with the Chinese testing cycle. So EPA and real world would be less here, but these are exciting upgrades regardless. Tesla is one of CATL's biggest customers, and there have been multiple reports that they are working on new, faster charging batteries for Tesla's most popular cars. Reportedly as well, Elon Musk recently met with CATL's chairman. The expectation here is that the Chinese-made Model 3 could be the first car to get this new battery, but Tesla has been in some interesting talks with CATL for US production. They could potentially be licensing their technology to make CATL batteries at Tesla facilities, allowing their cars to qualify for the US tax credit while taking advantage of battery tech that really isn't available in the US. If you're an incredibly patient person, that, future price drops, and rumors of a Model 3 hatchback coming next year could be a reason to wait and see what happens. The EV space is very exciting, especially when it comes to battery technology, but it really only matters when this tech can be made at scale. We'll have to see when that all happens here. Next up today, Tesla and Elon Musk in particular are continuing an unprecedented shakeup that raises a lot of questions regarding their upcoming direction. Barely 2 weeks ago, Tesla announced that they would be laying off 10% of their workforce, and that 2 major executives would be departing. That was definitely a major moment for the company, since Tesla is at a critical juncture with what should be their upcoming $25,000 car and their upcoming robotaxi, all while coming off the back of a rough quarter. Elon is known for doing big, sudden restructures at his companies, so while this move was a bit shocking, it was still kind of in character for him. We saw him very much do this at Twitter when he took over. Now Tesla has just announced even more layoffs that are even more shocking. Many Tesla fans who support most decisions are finding this one in particular hard to understand. Among those new layoffs are 2 major executives within the company and the staff of one of Tesla's biggest programs. Elon Musk sent out an email stating that the company needed to be hardcore about headcount and cost reduction. In order to push for further layoffs, he added, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, I will ask for the resignation of any executive who retains more than 3 people who don't obviously pass the excellent, necessary, and trustworthy test. This seems to have caused a big rift within the company, and as such, they are losing a lot of talent. First, Daniel Ho, a longtime Tesla employee and the director of vehicle programs and new product initiatives, has been let go. This comes at a time when Tesla is very deep in the development of what could be their biggest vehicle ever, their upcoming robotaxi and affordable model. Tesla's head of public policy, Rohan Patel, departed the company during their last wave of layoffs, and now most of his former team is being removed. This could have a big impact on Tesla's ability to effectively navigate and guide public policy regarding EV rollout and increasing charging infrastructure. At the same time as well, Tesla's head of investor relations, Martin Viecha, is headed out soon. Perhaps the most shocking layoffs, though, come from Tesla's charging division, Rebecca Tanucci, their senior director of EV charging. She has left the company, and almost the entire 500-person charging team has been laid off. Any remaining employees from that program are being shifted around to other teams within the company. This is a hugely shocking move, since Tesla's supercharger network has undeniably been one of their greatest assets. Expansion has been growing a lot, and they have begun opening up that network to other automakers, essentially setting up a great electric future with them at the helm. Elon's email says that they will finish stations currently under construction and continue to build some more stations, but this seems to be a big sign that supercharger rollout will be slowing. He also tweeted saying Tesla still plans to grow the supercharger network, just at a slower pace for new locations and more focus on 100% uptime and expansion of existing locations. Tesla is cutting down on their staff, including some really key figures, in a hugely surprising way. Elon Musk seems to be clearing house at the company in a manner that many think may be going too far. Cutting more than 10% of the company was already huge, but now they have lost 5 major executives and their teams within 2 weeks. Their charging team has done an amazing job rolling out the supercharger network, whose quality and reliability have done wonders for EV adoption, especially Tesla adoption. This is the first that we really even got an insight into how big this team was, though, so it's hard to fully judge the outcome of this without all the details. Still, that's another 500 employees gone, and it's a bit alarming to think how this may impact their supercharger strategy going forward. Perhaps since NACS has been opened up to other automakers, they are simply going to rely on third parties to continue growing the charging infrastructure. Tesla has already begun selling superchargers to other companies, so maybe they are pivoting away from having their own branded charging network, or at least not at the scale that we previously thought they were going to do. We're already seeing them backing out of future planned supercharger sites, like 4 sites that were planned for New York City. These would have helped with necessary charging demand, and now they are not going to be built. It's impossible to say at this point how this move will impact the company going forward, but we do know that they are changing things pretty dramatically. The immediate assumption for many is that supercharging is going to become more crowded and not become as exciting of an expanding network as we thought it would be. It's definitely hard not to be a bit alarmed by the scale of these layoffs, but only time will tell how this all shakes out and what impact this will have on their upcoming vehicles. What are your thoughts, though? In particular, if you see this as a smart move, I'm curious to know why. Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Next up today, while Tesla continues development of their full self-driving technology, they have just reached a huge agreement to eventually bring that tech to a major market. While the US has, with varying degrees of regulatory setbacks, been willing to allow Tesla to roll out their FSD software to eligible vehicles, not all markets have been as welcoming. China, a major market for Tesla, has not allowed FSD on their roads for years now, and not even allowed the company to transfer data collected on Chinese roads out of the country. Recently, Elon Musk made a visit to China that signals big changes are coming to Tesla in that country. Tesla has faced a number of privacy and data security concerns in China due to the numerous cameras scattered across the exterior. Teslas have been turned away from military bases, political events, and even entire regions of the country. In a major step, Tesla has just received an endorsement from a Chinese auto association that the company meets certain data security rules. This should do a lot to ensure the Model 3 and Y would be allowed further access into previously walled-off parts of China. Similarly big, Tesla has just made an agreement with the mapping company Baidu to have access to their data on Chinese roads. Tesla already uses Baidu to deliver in-vehicle navigation in their Chinese vehicles, but this agreement would grant Tesla access to their license on data collection on public roads. In order to legally operate on Chinese roads, all foreign companies are required to partner with a local company that is licensed to collect mapping data. This is a big regulatory hurdle in China that Tesla has just crossed. As it stands right now, Tesla is not allowed to export any data that they collect on Chinese roads for use in other countries. Tesla sold almost 950,000 vehicles in China last year alone, so this is a continually growing market whose driving data they are effectively locked out of using. If they are able to reach a full agreement with the Chinese government soon, that would be a great source of high-quality driving data that would surely bolster their FSD ambitions. China has a very complex road system with a lot of pedestrians and cyclists, so it's very important that it works well in that environment. There hasn't been any word on when FSD will be coming to China, but Elon Musk tweeted months ago that it would be coming very soon. It sounds like they've made a lot of progress on getting it approved there very quickly, so we may actually see it right around the corner. That would be a major development for Tesla and their self-driving technology, so I hope to hear more on this soon. Next up today, after a lot of delays, Tesla may be entering volume production of their electric semi very soon. When it was unveiled all the way back in 2017, it was supposed to hit the market in 2020, but we didn't see it for 2 more years. Since then, we've only seen it in small numbers. As of about 7 months ago, they had only built about 70 of these trucks, which were only being used internally. In January of last year, Tesla announced an expansion of Gigafactory Nevada to house volume production of the Semi, so its growth has been contingent on the completion of that project. During their recent financial results webcast, Tesla announced plans to reach volume production for this truck late next year. According to Lars Moravy, Tesla's vice president of vehicle engineering, quote, "We're finalizing the engineering of Semi to enable a super cost-effective, high-volume production with our learnings from our fleet and our pilot fleet and Pepsi fleet, which we are expanding this year marginally." He went on to reiterate that they have started construction on their factory in Reno, with their first vehicles being planned for late 2025 and external customers starting in 2026. Tesla included a photo of their progress in their shareholder deck, and we can see the ground is leveled and looks to be ready for construction. In the background, we can see Giga Nevada. While the Semi has taken a lot of time to get from inception to volume production, keep in mind that this is a massive vehicle that will require an extremely tight production line to maintain their margins. At the same time, Tesla now seems to be calling part of their production models from December of 2022 their pilot fleet, so there may still be some changes made to this truck once the new assembly line is finished. While surely many companies are eagerly awaiting the full release of this truck, another company has been spotted already putting this truck to work. Cisco, a major US food distributor, placed a reservation for 50 of these trucks all the way back in 2017. Now, 7 years later, they have apparently taken delivery of and are starting to implement their first Tesla Semi truck into their delivery fleet. We can see in this video a Semi pulled off to the side of the road hauling a full-sized container behind it. Long-haul shipping is a very exciting path forward for EV technology, and this partnership is going to do a lot to further put these trucks to the test. So far, only a few companies have gotten to use these trucks, so expanding the fleet will do a lot to prove if it can truly replace diesel trucks in all situations. Once other companies start to see its successes, I imagine this truck will prove very popular when it's fully released in just a few years, hopefully. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. Mercedes has just shown off the newest version of their electric EQS luxury sedan. This new 2025 model offers some pretty cool new features and upgrades that should make this car even more compelling for those in this market. On the battery side, they've increased the size of its pack up to 118 kilowatt hours of usable energy, a 10 kilowatt hour capacity increase. The current EQS offers about 340 miles on a charge, so this new version should exceed that. They have also introduced a brand new regenerative braking software that should considerably extend your range. Mercedes luxury vehicles are known for their interior comfort, and the EQS is doing a lot to push the envelope in that regard. They are offering a new trim that allows you to fold away the front passenger seat for increased rear comfort. Those rear seats also have highly adjustable reclining and seat depth options, as well as built-in seat, neck, and shoulder heaters. In addition, they've also increased padding on those seats for a more comfortable ride. While the EQS was designed from the ground up for aerodynamics, the resulting loss of the iconic Mercedes hood ornament left a lot of customers disappointed. It's a small change, but Mercedes has brought back that standing star emblem alongside a newly designed front fascia to give this car a sleek update on a classic look. As it stands right now, the EQS is one of the only vehicles in the world to offer full Level 3 autonomous driving in very particular scenarios. Using their Drive Pilot software, in certain circumstances, you can fully take your eyes off the road while the car drives itself. Obviously, this isn't full autonomy, but it is one of the highest rated self-driving systems out there. This new version should be coming to dealers later this year and will likely be priced similarly to the existing model, starting at $104,000. This is definitely a luxury vehicle, but it offers a ton of cool features that should start trickling down to Mercedes' cheaper upcoming EV options soon. Mercedes has also officially unveiled their all-electric G-Class. With a starting price of around $180,000 US, this vehicle comes with a lot of luxury features we expect from Mercedes, but it's built for off-roading. It'll have 579 horsepower for a 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.7 seconds, a 116 kilowatt-hour battery with around 250 miles of EPA range, and a 200 kilowatt max charging speed. That battery is protected by a 1-inch thick skid plate weighing 127 pounds, and it can drive in water up to 33.5 inches deep. That's 5.9 inches more than its ICE counterpart. Deliveries for this one will start later this year, and while expensive, this could prove pretty popular. The G-Wagon is a popular vehicle, and now it's going fully electric. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest for Tesla's next hatchback, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.